but I did run into some hiccups. Ral drove me crazy in this book, and Lily drove me even crazier. Hey bookworms! Welcome back to our channel. This is Mom, aka Sarah.
I'm Char.
Today we're going to be doing our January wrap up. So first things first, check out our bookshelves, guys. we did that.
So we have our bookshelf reorganization coming up, and y'all, I think you guys would like it a lot. It was really fun to reorganize our whole bookshelf. We went through a lot of books, to be honest. And
not to mention, it was challenging to color code it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Today we're going to be doing our wrap up, our January wrap up. This January, okay, so if you guys are new here, I'm just getting back into reading. I've always loved books, collected books, but I took a break and your girl's back. And I felt like I went hard for January.
Mom read so many books. Honestly, Mom went a little wild with her books when she was reading.
Yes. So I want to go through my books and show you what I read this week. So technically, I didn't finish all of my books. There's one that I didn't get to finish. I'm currently reading Archer's Voice. I am, what's that? A third?
I'd say a third.
A third of the way through the book, and I'm enjoying it so far. So that unfortunately didn't get finished, but I did finish 3 books. And I think that's pretty good because that's a start. My TBR for this year, I think I put 24 books, but I may have changed it to 30, and I feel like I am kind of on track with that. If I'm able to read like 3 books a month, that's gonna be a lot. That's at least 36 books a year.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Well, like 3 books each month.
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna start first. The first books that I read, I ended up reading book 1 and book 2 of the Hoover series. It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. And might I say, I kind of went into these books blindly. I did kind of go off of the BookTube hype. BookTube led me to do this. I wasn't aware of the controversies and all that before. Let me just get into my opinions of the book. So this first one, I really enjoyed. But there were some, but I did run into some hiccups. So I started off with the audio, and honestly, it was pretty good. Initially, it was kind of hard to get into, just like maybe the first chapter or so, because I haven't been listening to audiobooks in a long time, and you really have to kind of get your head in the zone, especially when it's like a new book.
You're mentioning that the person reading the audio was doing like a mediocre job of it.
It's not even mediocre. I don't want to say mediocre, but I just wasn't enjoying their voice. But as the book progressed and I listened, I actually enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the narrator after a while. Overall, I did enjoy the book, but there were some issues. I didn't annotate anything, which I felt like I should have. Now that I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of the tea in terms of like the DV and stuff that took place in the book. Obviously no one is a fan of that, but it's a part of the storyline, and Ral drove me crazy in this book, and Lily drove me even crazier. I just wanted to kind of shake her a couple of times and say, girl, get it together. This guy's doing whatever to you, like, go, like, leave. And she just kept staying and kept staying. I just didn't love the fact that she was making a ton of excuses for him, so that frustrated me a ton. The character just keeps repeating themselves. One minute they're exuding their strength, and the next minute she takes away her strength from her own self. It was very frustrating. Overall, I really enjoyed it. The storyline was really good. It was really intriguing. It kept me wanting to read more. Yeah, and then we progressed into book 2. Now, I've heard a bunch of reviews about this, and I'm not one to like to feed off of reviews, but might I say, I have to agree with everyone in saying that this book didn't need to happen. It really didn't. It was really just a continuation of book 1, reiterating a lot of stuff, kind of filling in the blanks, because book 1 skimmed over stuff. It didn't go into details about like Atlas's life, so this kind of went into that. It was nice in a sense, but it wasn't necessary, especially from Lily's perspective, because her perspective in this book literally drove me crazy. If you didn't read this one yet, it is in like a dual perspective, because you know, he talks and then she talks and whatnot. He showed his maturity in this book a ton. As for Lily, she just drove me nuts continually. The first one is called It Ends With Us, and then this is supposed to be It Starts With Us, but why does It Start With Us have to start with us at the very end? I guess it's like a typical romance. Like, you read through everything just to get through like the last 10 pages. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it felt like that. Just a lot of read just to get to that point where it's like, oh my goodness, you want to be with him. She made choices to better herself, to move on with her life, and yet she made that guy still control her every aspect of her life throughout this whole book. yeah, it drove me mad. But anyways, the story on a whole, I'd give this one like a good 3.5. I really did enjoy it in terms of like wanting to know what's gonna happen. It was like a page turner.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's my overall take. Book 1, I think I gave a 4. And then this one I would give like a 3.5. It didn't necessarily need to happen, but it was nice to learn Atlas's story. Another thing I want to point out that I really didn't like with what the author did in terms of the character's name. Like, why does she have to be given such a weird name? Her name is like Lily Bloom, Lily Blossom Bloom.
Her name's Lily Blossom Bloom.
Her name was Lily Blossom Bloom or something. Yeah.
You know, like a kids TV show. You
yes.
know, like the main character, Lily Blossom.
So, right? So that threw me all the way off. I'm like, tell me you didn't really name your kid Lily Blossom Bloom. I'm not one to even knock parents in naming their kids, but Lily Blossom Bloom though, if you know your last name is Bloom or your middle name is even Blossom, why name her Lily? Or vice versa. Like,
you just gotta stick with the pattern. Once you got it, you gotta stick with it.
Yeah, or not. Anyways, so the next book that I also read is called Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I ended up listening to it through Audible. And I must say, oh my gosh, the narrator's voice threw me off. I really did not enjoy book 1. And I ended up buying it in a package. Let me tell you, if you're gonna buy or listen to a book on Audible, be sure to listen to the sample to know what the narrator is all about or what they're gonna sound like or know what you're in for. Especially if you're listening to like a romance, I think that voice and the narrator is gonna throw you all the way off. And for me, it did. The guy sounded, he just sounded different. Let me just say that. When you're reading the book in your own head, the voice is gonna be what you want it to be.
Exactly. It's perfect in your head.
It's
honestly.
perfect in your head. And so yeah, I made a mistake. I ended up buying it in a package audio. It wasn't honestly that expensive in comparison to buying individually. I think buying a book was like $6.99 versus the package was like $14.99 for the whole thing. Not a big deal. I would still maybe finish the other 2. I probably will just because I already paid for them. But my gosh, the story was really good. I just didn't like the way the guy sounded. And also, I find that, you know, in terms of the smut stuff, I'm not like the biggest fan of all the smut. I do prefer the closed book romance. And so when you're listening to a book that has a lot of it, that there's another thing that I'm learning that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not like the biggest fan. Then on top of it, with a narrator that you're not necessarily fond of, the narrator could narrate a lot of other stuff and it would sound fine, but I didn't find that her voice matched what I thought it would in these books. On a whole, it was pretty good. It's about a chronically ill girl who basically is like limiting herself, and then she ends up falling for a guy who ends up kind of pulling her out of her shell, and the romance takes place. One thing that also threw me off was the fact that the problem in this book kind of came in right at the end, and then it's like rushed in the very last chapter. That was a little bit different. Didn't seem to have needed it. It was going through so smoothly that I was like, oh, I already kind of thought that what she was dealing with and him coming in to help solve that, I kind of thought that was the problem to begin with. So I didn't think there needed to be like another major problem. But I guess, you know, it's romance. What's a romance without a problem? Surprise! Surprise! Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the book. I'd probably give it a 4 in terms of storyline. It was good. Kept me interested and captivated. So I think I'll read book 2 and book 3. Take it away!
Okay, so the first book that I finished in January was The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, and it was good. It was a cute read. Really not that much, but it was honestly like a really cute, simple read. It was the fake dating trope. I didn't know what to think jumping into it because I was never really a big fan of like the jock romance, but they made it fun in this book, you know? Like there wasn't actually a lot of like football, like manly man. So like I don't really care for that, but this was a really fun, simple book. I recommend it. I think I gave it like a 4-star on Goodreads because yeah, why not?
It's cute. The cover is cute.
Very cute. Oh yeah. The last book I read actually was The Giver by Lewis Lowry. So honestly, I like this book a lot. I gave it like a 3-star on Goodreads, but that's for a reason, okay? This book has a lot of controversy surrounding it. People are like, wow, it's too violent and it's too out there. So much like adult content. But it's like, it's a dystopia, so you have to be prepared for that, okay? And 2, there's not a whole lot. It doesn't touch base deeply into those subjects. As you're reading it, you will understand it as it goes. But there's not a whole lot of deep diving into like adults, you know, like death, things like that. It was like kind of strange and twisted, but they did it in a way that it makes sense. I like the character a lot in this book. I liked how she wrote it, and I think it was honestly really good. Yep,
Nice.
that's my wrap up. I read 2 books this month, guys. Honestly, I would have read more. I'm in the middle of another book right now. I'm like halfway through, and just that school was so hectic this month. Like exams, final exams and everything. I gotta get this done.
I get
But
that.
I'm so happy because now I have more time to read.
Okay guys, so that is it for our January TBR. I think I did really well. I didn't anticipate that I'd even get through 3. I was hoping. I kind of set a little cap for myself, but I wasn't sure I'd make it, and you know what, I'm pretty proud for getting through 3.
Mom was speeding through the books.
I was enjoying them. That's the one beauty about loving the audiobooks, is that I was able to listen to some too while I was walking, which was really good. We're going to be doing our February TBR, which I'm so excited about. We're not going to touch base about it in this video. Be on the lookout for it. It will be coming up next.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. And thank you guys so much for watching.
And we'll see you in the next one.